If you ever notice that there's a vibration in your bonnet on your Triumph GT6 or Spitfire, it's probably because the rubber cones have perished. This is what the part is supposed to look like right here. And as you can see, the rubber is gone. That cone will in turn mate with this part right here, and properly adjusted, when you clamp down, it'll bring a little bit of downward pressure and prevent it from rattling. To change it out, you're first going to need a 1/2-inch spanner. Attach it to the existing nut, turn it counterclockwise to loosen it, and then merely remove the old piece. As you can see, there's a nut that's inside here that's captured. Here you can see the old piece versus the replacement part. Next is to remove the nut, because the flat washer and lock washer are in the wrong position. Now you want to reinstall the lock nut on here. If I can do it one-handed. Next would be the lock nut. And finally the flat washer. I think it's a good idea to put some anti-seize lubricant on the threads for the next time you have to do the job, which hopefully will be a number of years down the road. Or at least you can pay it forward to the next guy. With the Loctite on the threads, you're now ready to reattach the part. Thought I was having some difficulty, only to find out the threads aren't the same. The British love to use the fine thread, and this is probably some cheap Chinese copy, which appears to have used standard threads. So I'm going to have to contact the buyer, or the seller rather, and get a replacement. Well, it looks like I'm dead in the water for now, because these parts I bought on Amazon, and I've just initiated the return because they were not as described. They're not interchangeable. And there's no way I'm going to go in here and remove the original nut that's captured back up inside there. Should have ordered it from one of the more reputable sources. So now we'll repeat the process of removing the incorrect, or rather the worn out part. Nice thing about a Triumph is that the parts do drop down to the ground. If this was a modern car, you'd never find the part. So with a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, I go ahead and run this down all the way, and we can start to install the part and then do the initial adjustment. In Amazon's defense, the part that they supplied, or rather their supplier supplied with the coarse threads, they did promptly refund my money and did not ask for the old part back, but it's going to go in the trash because I don't want to take a chance in the future of that getting mixed up with something else. I noticed this side was missing the flat washer and the other side had one, so I went ahead and took it apart again and put a flat washer in here. Of course, as they say in the manuals, reassembly is simply the reverse order of the disassembly. So I'm going to go ahead and run this in a number of threads, do the same to the other side for static adjustment, and then we'll go ahead and do the final adjustment. As you adjust this for the proper height where the bonnet will meet the surface as well as the door. Be mindful of this catch piece here. It's held in with a crosshead bolt as well as a nut underneath on both sides. Sometimes this can be out of alignment fore and aft, and that was the case with mine, so that once I got this aligned where the cone would drop right through the center, and I adjusted the height, and now it functions just fine. And now with the bonnet down, simply give that a nice little push and she's latched and should not rattle. These cars have enough rattles and squeaks going down the road. Job is finished, and the hood is, or the bonnet rather, is nice and tight. This is my 1972 Spitfire that I bought maybe a year ago from a family here in the area. It had been in her family for the past 43 years, and it was always garaged, pampered, and I have yet to find one spot of rust on the car. But that's original paint, even the original laurel green paint. So future point, I'll do another more in-depth video of this car. But it's a 1.3 liter, no overdrive, and just a fun car to drive.